Stephen Hall, you're on.
Yeah, I'm introducing myself. I'm Stephen Hall, I'm president of the Greater Manchester Association of Trades Councils, also a member of Bolton Trades Council. And one of the things we've been discussing at Trades Council level is the likely impact of COVID-19 on employment. People are expecting a tsunami of job losses to come about in October. Lots of people potentially being thrown on the dole and having to suffer the indignity of claiming universal credit. I'm not on it, but I gather it's pretty shit and you have to wait 6 weeks for it. And wondering how they're ever going to get another job, because some industries like aviation and whatever, some of the hospitality jobs are probably never likely come back. What we're going to do with potentially 3 or 4 million people unemployed in less than a couple of months. And it strikes me, I'm a campaigner, I've been for many years for the 1 million climate jobs campaign, that here's an ideal opportunity to turn a catastrophe into a positive thing. And it only requires effort on the part of the government, and this is one of the things that Bolton Council could be doing, is campaigning for more resources from the government to promote the type of schemes that people like myself have argued for in relation to the 1 million climate jobs campaign, such as developing renewable energy generation. Throughout Bolton, it's been worked out, you know, wind power in the Orkneys is, by the time the energy generated there gets to Bolton, about half of it's been dissipated. It's better to be generating energy close to the place where you're going to use it. We could be putting, if the local councils and the government had the commitment, they could be putting solar panels on everybody's roof, insulating people's homes, cutting their energy bills. Who's going to vote against that? And at the same time putting lots of people to work, also improving our public transport system. And the 1 million climate jobs campaign anticipated that to create 1 million jobs it cost us 20 billion a year. That's roughly about 20 grand a piece. It costs quite a lot of money. Have people sat on the rock and roll doing nothing. It costs 20 billion, so if there were 3 million unemployed, throw 60 billion at it, and we could create 3 million jobs doing that type of stuff, fighting climate change and accelerating that fight. That could be done. It just requires a political will, people campaigning for that. Now people think, well, we're already in this massive debt as a result of COVID-19. Where are we going to get money from? How can we afford this? And what I always respond to people who come forward with that question is, how can we not afford it? Right? People like Nicholas Stern, who were commissioned by Gordon Brown's government in 2010, over 10 years ago, worked out, and it's pretty obvious, that if we don't address the climate change, the issue of climate change now, it's going to potentially cost us 20 times more in 10 years' time. And potentially, if we don't act, it might even cost us the earth, because we end up with runaway climate change that we can't ever do anything about. So that could cost, you know, we could never be able to do anything about that. But to put it in layman's terms, and I've had, you know, people in their 80s saying, why aren't we doing this? Because to put it in layman's terms, it's like saying, you've got a problem with your roof. If you fix it now, costs you £1,000, but if you don't do anything about it, over the next 10 years all this water's going to get in, potentially all your gable ends going to fall off, your roof's going to collapse, front of your house, going to cost you 20 grand. Most people, even if they were in debt, even if they had a massive mortgage, would see the benefit of borrowing £1,000 now and fixing the roof, rather than waiting for 10 years' time evolve and spending even more to solve the problem. So when people come up with this, where are we going to get money from, you should put that argument to them, because not to spend it will cost us even more in the future, potentially cost us the earth if we don't tackle it soon enough. And that's something it just requires political will to do. But also I want to put some, I've been campaigning along with guys like yourself to demand things like Bolton Council take action, which could be doing a lot more to tackle the issue than it is. and I've been asking MPs do stuff. But I think we've also got to realise, I've got a t-shirt here, Wigan Diggers Festival, Gerard Winstanley, a guy who was involved in around during the English Civil War, who went to Cobham, if any of you know the story, and decided to start digging up the commons because he said words and writing are all nothing that must die, for action is the life of all, and if thou dost not act, thou dost nothing. And basically we also need to look at ourselves. We don't want just campaign to demand councils do things and government do things, which are all perfectly correct and we should continue to do them. We also want to recognise there's things that we can do now ourselves in our own communities to help tackle this issue, not just becoming vegetarian or eating less meat or even becoming vegans, but we can do lots of stuff and we can get involved in projects in our own communities, like we're trying to get off in the ground in Atherton just down the road in fighting for a target to reduce our carbon emissions to net zero by 2030. Lots we can do, lots the council could do. We need also go out and explain to people why this is important, because clearly we've not got public opinion with us yet. Alright, I'll leave it at that. Thank you all for coming. It's great that you've all given a shit about it, unlike a lot of other people, and I'll no doubt see you on the next one.
Thank you, Stephen.